Yes, another reviewer. A very exciting time is ahead of us, and what I'm referring to, of course, is the 8th generation of home gaming consoles. As expected, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo have made their announcements and released a great amount of information on their consoles, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Wii U. Now, I know the Nintendo Wii U has already been released, but for all intents and purposes of this video, I'm still going to be comparing it to the two as of yet unreleased consoles. I believe that when it comes to deciding what console you want to spend your hard-earned money on, it is important to be informed, since it is a major purchase, and likely a purchase you'll be stuck with for a very long time. So this is going to be my attempt to make sure you have as much information as the most informed fanboy on each brand, so you know which one is right for you. Now, this is what we know as of now, but tomorrow both Microsoft and Sony are going to be presenting more information at E3, so if there are any blank spots in this video, they'll hopefully be filling us in on that. Now, for the first thing I want to discuss is the backbone of the argument, the hardware specifications of each console. The Sony Playstation 4 and Microsoft Xbox One have very similar hardware. Both have an x86-64 processor that translates to 8 cores, which is interesting as Sony decided to drop the use of the cell processor that they used with the PlayStation 3. It made it difficult for developers to make games for the system, opting for an AMD processor called the AMD Jaguar that doubles as the GPU as well. Both consoles have 8GB of memory, which is confirmed that the PlayStation 4 will be using GDDR5 memory, while the Xbox One will be using DDR3. The PlayStation 4 hasn't released an official size for its hard drive, while the Xbox One will be equipped with a 500GB hard drive. Both utilize the Blu-ray format, and the Xbox One will utilize a modified version of Windows 8 for its operating system, and the newer Kinect 2.0 will be required to use the system. The PlayStation 4 comes with a 2-point touchpad on the controller, and an eye is described in the specifications, but it isn't known to what capacity the Sony Eye camera is used. The Nintendo Wii, on the other hand, is equipped with an IBM PowerPC 750 base tri-core processor clocked at 1.24 GHz called Espresso, an AMD Radeon HD processor for graphics codenamed Latte, 2 GB of memory, an 8 GB hard drive for the basic model, and a 32 GB hard drive for the deluxe model, with support for up to 32 GB from a high-capacity SD card in Wii mode, or a 2 TB external hard drive in Wii U mode. As for the format of the games, it uses a proprietary dual-layer format that holds 25 GB per layer. Looking at all that, it looks like the Sony PlayStation 4's use of a better memory technology gives it that small push it needs to take this category. Now, as for features, the Sony PlayStation 4 features a touchpad on the controller and a share button that allows you to share gameplay videos, photos with your friends, and on Facebook, as well as live streaming on Ustream. It also has a headset jack in the controller and remote play with your PlayStation Vita, where you play PlayStation 4 games on your PlayStation 4 from your Vita. Now, the Microsoft Xbox One features Living Games technology, where the games learn from how you play and allow other players to play your shadow while you're offline. You can watch TV through your Xbox One, which allows you to use split-screen apps to game or watch TV while using video chat on Skype. Installation and update is handled in the background. You can pause your game, switch to the TV or another app, and then go back to gameplay and resume like nothing happened. Stats for your sports games are kept up to date live so that your game matches the stats of the real-life players. The Kinect 2.0 offers voice and motion controls that have been enhanced to be totally accurate. You can use your mobile devices as a second screen to interact with your Xbox One interface, and it also features Smart Match that matches you up with other players online by skill, language, and reputation. Now finally, the features of the Wii U. The unique gamepad allows you to interact with your games, as well as play games with your TV off, and use it as a remote control for your TV, as well as fast access to social networking. It provides easy and unrestricted access to the internet on your TV, and you're able to video chat with other Wii U users. Also, it's the only console that allows backwards compatibility with its former console, so you can play Wii games on this too. When it comes to features, despite the Wii U's backwards compatibility, the Xbox One has a lot of really cool ideas in their features, so I have to give it to Microsoft in this category. Next up is launch titles. Starting with the PlayStation 4, they have 10 games listed on their website that will be available at launch. Killzone Shadowfall, Infamous Second Son, Destiny, Watch Dogs, Call of Duty Ghosts, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Knack, Drive Club, The Witness, and a Capcom game with the working title Deep Down. Only 3 titles are listed for the Xbox One. It seems to me that it's really not too many for it, considering most of the screenshots on the website come from Forza 5 alone. The other 2 games are Quantum Break and Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, the Wii U has an unfair advantage because it's already been released, so all 23 of the launch titles are already known, but to pick a few, it had Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Arkham City Armored Edition, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Darksiders 2, Mass Effect 3, New Super Mario Bros. U, Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, Rabbids Land, Scribblenauts Unlimited, Skylanders Giants, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Wii U Edition, Trine 2 Director's Cut, and Zombie U. Also, bear in mind that games are designed to be released on all 3 platforms, such as Call of Duty Ghosts and Assassin's Creed 4, which will be made to play on the Wii U as it has the lower specs. Developers will use it as the benchmark. Bearing that in mind, and many other games that have been released for the Wii U already, Nintendo gets this category, which is a big surprise as the Nintendo Wii had a ton of games that were mostly shovelware due to their gimmick, but more developers see the Wii U as a viable option. Now, we're getting more into my personal opinion, but you can tell a lot about where a company stands with this product as to how it prioritizes its features. So I'm going to list for you, according to each individual website, what their priorities seem to be with their consoles. The first thing Sony wants you to know about the PlayStation 4 is what titles will be released for it, what kind of enhancements are being put into the controller, and how this system is performance-oriented to give you the best gameplay experience. It then goes into the share button to share videos of your gameplay or photos on Facebook, as well as social networking that is built into the PS4. And the last thing they want you to be aware of is that you can remote play your PlayStation 4 games on your PlayStation Vita. Microsoft, on the other hand, prioritizes its familiar home screen first, as the system is run by a version of Windows 8 made for the console. Its voice activation and motion sensor are next. Then it goes into the fact that you can watch TV through it as a cable box, which leads into the social aspects of the console, where you can Skype with your friends, share game footage you've recorded, or see what your friends are watching on TV, as well as checking current trends in TV and movies. They also offer sports packages, as they are partnered with the NFL. The console will also have apps that you can download, as well as internet browsing using Internet Explorer and Bing Search, which you can switch back and forth between quickly, and finally they get into how their games are incredibly realistic. Now, with the Nintendo Wii U, they start right off with the gamepad and how it enhances how you control your games as a second window into the game world. It showcases how the console features HD graphics. It then goes into how a vast library of games for the systems is available online for download. It explains then that the gamepad can be used as a customizable programming guide for your TV. It includes social networking capabilities such as MeChat, Miiverse, and the internet. And finally, its ability to play games for Wii. Now, with all that in mind, and this kind of is a hard decision to make, but I have to give it to the Nintendo Wii U as it sticks very much to itself and its own gimmick. All the priorities are either surrounding games or the gamepad itself, and isn't shoving social networking down your throat quite as much as the other two seem to be. Now, to finish this off, let's look at the press. What is being talked about the most surrounding these systems? For the PlayStation 4, people were asking about the DRM, which as of right now seems to have no restrictions. You buy the game, you play it, you sell it back or give it to a friend or something, and what does it look like? Well, I don't know, so let's move on to the Nintendo Wii U. People believe it'll sink Nintendo. They expected to sell 5.5 million units, but only sold 3.5 million. That's not as big of a deal as it sounds, and I'll get into why in a bit. But the big one in this category, the one with the biggest score to settle, the Xbox One with their DRM. They'd explained it rather badly, but fortunately an email was circulated about it, where once you buy a game and put it in your system, you don't have to use the disc anymore because it's installed on your system, but it's available to be installed from the disc by anyone in your house who shares your account. and can be played at a friend's house if you take the disc with you, install it on their console, then sign into your account. And it can only be traded to participating retailers, which means major outlets, no more small used game stores handling your games for a slightly better price, but only larger outlets like GameStop and Amazon. The next question people asked was, does the Xbox One have to be online all the time? The answer to that is no, but you do need to have it connected at least once every 24 hours so it can check back to the home servers to update, sync with the cloud, and I guess verify if you're using any pirated software or hardware, leaving the system inoperable if it is unable to check in. Another question was about the new Kinect. Will it be on all the time? Yes, to a certain capacity. It'll be on all the time, so it will hear you when you say Xbox on to turn on the system. The system actually won't even function without the Kinect connected. A German government official had actually threatened legal action if there's not a way to turn the Kinect off, which Microsoft guarantees that there is a way in the software to completely customize the way the Kinect gathers information. I'm giving this one to the PlayStation 4 as they're not releasing everything, but they're releasing what information they need to put most of the rumors to rest and blocking most rumors before they even start. Finally, after you've heard all the facts as I understand them, you get to hear what I have to say as I try to make sense of all the information I've given you. The Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are almost exactly the same from a hardware standpoint. It just seems that Microsoft is going too far in the wrong direction. The hardware specs aren't even really a big deal, as most developers will want to release their games on all three consoles, so they'll be designed for the Wii U's hardware, which is, for lack of a better word, inferior. Microsoft wants to make gaming entirely corporate by only allowing participating retailers that'll work with their systems and play their games to trade in and resell games, just so they can work under their thumb and do what they were unable to do before, and that is collect money for selling games a second, third, and even more times. This is only speculation, mind you, but why else would they do it that way? Hell, you can only give a game to your friends if they've been your friend on Xbox Live for at least 30 days. Then they can't give it away, which means they have to trade it in if they don't want it anymore. It feels very anti-consumer to me to limit your options on what you can do with your own property that you buy in a physical means, but it only has a value in a digital sense. PlayStation 4 is fairly viable for me as they don't fuck around with used games, but allow you to share your gameplay footage. As a reviewer, depending on how this is implemented, this could be very useful to me, as I may be able to dump footage straight from my PS4 to my laptop to make my videos. The Wii U to me just looks fun, and the Wii had so much potential, but it was just implemented poorly, and there was nothing but shovelware released for it. But I have seen the Wii U, and I've played it, and it makes me feel that they grew from their mistakes of the Wii into something that improved upon what the Wii tried to do, and that's ideally the console I'm after. I mentioned about sales earlier, about how Nintendo wanted to sell 5.5 million Wii U's and only sold 3.5 million, and people are acting like Nintendo is done making consoles forever. This is a sales projection that is based off of how many units the Wii sold during its release. The Wii U didn't match the sales figures for the Wii, but that's not a big deal. Remember, the GameCube sold roughly 22 million units in its lifetime, and it was released nearly 12 years ago. They just expected to make a lot more than they did. It doesn't mean they didn't make enough to break even, now they can start making money. That's not how sales projections work. GameStop is pulling the Wii U Basic from the shelves and sending it back to Nintendo simply because for less than the price of the game included, you can get 4 times more storage space and a game to come with your console. The only bad move they made was making the value version a horrible value compared to the Wii U Deluxe. If you can't tell by now, I favor the Nintendo Wii. The PlayStation 4 comes second, and I'm not even going to rank the Xbox One as way too many horrible decisions were involved in it to even count. The information I keep receiving from Microsoft themselves seems like they don't even care what people think about them. They'll do what they want and you'll buy it. That's probably true, as I keep hearing people tell me how great the Xbox One is that don't seem to understand everything that is actually happening with the system. Once it's explained to them, they don't seem to like it that much anymore. Unfortunately, it's going to be impossible to reach everyone, so there's going to be a lot of anger directed towards Microsoft, and it will be too late, of course, as they'll already have sold millions of consoles. In closing, the Sony Playstation 4 should be great for exclusive titles that will utilize its full potential and gameplay sharing, and the Nintendo Wii U will be great for family and party fun as their brand has maintained for some time, with some neat little utilities thrown into the gamepad. And the Xbox One doesn't deserve any more attention from even my unknown ass.